teacher Ginny and Alice. Ginny is going to be coming up front for a bath very shortly. We have our keepers working here with her today. She's going to get some good treats throughout this bath. They're going to make sure to get a good look at her feet. And then for Ginny, we're also going to be taking a look inside her mouth to make sure that her teeth are doing what they need to be doing and make sure that they're clean enough. So hopefully we'll start to see an elephant soon. If you have any questions, you can feel free to ask them. This is my first Facebook Live, so forgive me if this is kind of weird. But happy to see that everybody's here to see our elephants at the zoo. I don't see anyone coming up yet. So we have 3 female African elephants here. Their names are Kate, Ginny, and Alice, and they've been here since the early 1990s. So they've been an intact herd for a very long period of time, and they're actually have the longest intact herd in any AZA institution in the United States, which is really something special. Our keepers work with them daily, so they give them baths, foot baths, they do training sessions, sometimes they do vet procedures. So you're going to get to kind of see the keepers do that today. They've already prepared me and let me know that it will be a bath, so you're going to get to see her sides scrubbed and also her feet scrubbed. I see someone. So Ginny is our largest of our 3 elephants. As of June 2019, she weighed about 9,200 pounds. Our other elephants are about 8,000 pounds and about 8,500 pounds.
So we had somebody ask, how fast do they run?
That is a very good question. So elephants can run up to 35 miles per hour if they were running directly at you. So it looks like they're still situating Ginny to make sure that she's going to be ready for this bath. Throughout this, you're going to see the keepers tossing her lots of food. These are different types of food. Some of it's grain pellets to make sure that she's getting all the nutrients she needs. But you're going to see some familiar things like sweet potatoes, green beans, cucumbers, zucchini. I think I saw some apples in there today. And so every time the keepers ask for the elephant to do something, if they do what they're asked, they're rewarded with a treat, and we call that positive reinforcement. While we're waiting for Ginny, I could join you back here.
So someone asked, do elephants have any predators?
So elephants can have predators. They are a rather large animal, but young elephants can be susceptible. But even elderly elephants, when they get too old and if they weren't able to still do what they need to do, sometimes they can be lost to things like lions and hyenas and other predators in the area. So the keepers are going to get ready with some water. So our elephants drink lots and lots and lots of water, but you're going to see that she drinks it a little bit differently than you and I drink. So she's going to suck it all into her trunk, kind of like a straw, but she doesn't suck it all the way through, because if you can imagine sucking up water through your nose, it doesn't feel that great. So she's going to take it into her trunk, and then she's going to blow it into her mouth. And although every elephant's trunk is different, they can hold about 2.5 gallons of water in their trunk, and they drink about 50 gallons a day. So that's about the size of your bathtub at home. And for any good bath session, they're always sure to give our elephants a good drink of water. We have 2 of our zookeepers here today, Tom and Jen. They work with the elephants every day. And there's some more keepers who work with our elephants. They have a really close bond with them. They work with them daily, whether it's through baths or training sessions like I talked about before. And it's really important to have that so that the elephants know that they can trust their keepers when they're working with them.
So we have someone who wants to know, how long are their trunks?
So that's a good question. Every elephant's trunk is going to be a little bit different. Ginny is our largest elephant, so her trunk might be a little bit longer than, say, Alice, our smallest elephant. I do not know her exact trunk length, however.
Someone's wondering, do they jump? Can an elephant jump?
Do they jump? I've never seen an elephant jump. I don't think they have the capability of going up. A keeper is nodding no to me, so I'm saying no, they cannot jump. However, if any of you are listening really, really hard, Ginny is doing a little bit of rumbling, which is one of the calls they do when they're trying to speak to their other herd mates. So Kate and Alice are in the back room, and she's doing a very, very low rumble just to make sure that they're still there.
So a couple of people are asking, how old is Ginny again, and what is the average lifespan of an African elephant?
Yeah, very good. So all three of our African elephants were estimated to be born in 1985. So that means they're about 35 years old now, and elephants can live up into their late 40s. Of course, sometimes elephants live longer or younger. So we say that our elephants are about middle-aged. And again, throughout this session, you're going to see the keepers throwing Ginny lots of food, and that's just telling her that she's doing the right thing. And if she keeps doing it, she'll keep getting food. To start our bath session, we're going to give her a nice, good wash. You're going to see a lot of dirt falling off of her back, a lot of mud coming off.
Amelia is wondering, why do our elephants get baths?
That's a very good question. The baths have a lot of different purposes. One of them is just to get a good look at the elephant to make sure that there's no scratches or scrapes or anything that we need to be concerned about. The elephants like it, so that's a plus. They really like the water, and they have special soap that you're going to get to see in a minute that we use to make sure that their skin is still in good shape. But then again, like I was talking, it helps really to bond the elephants with their keepers, because this is where they get a lot of their interactions. They're very social animals, and they also get a lot of their food. Like I've been saying before, there's sweet potatoes and zucchinis. Who doesn't want to have a bath for that? And so they do use a brush when they give her a bath, so she's going to get a nice good scratch. If they do see anything concerning, they can always look at it a little bit more, assuming the elephant is cooperating. But Ginny is doing very good right now, and you're going to hear the keepers tell her that, and they're going to call her a good girl. So that's exactly what she's supposed to be doing. Again, you're going to start seeing some of that mud start to come off of Ginny's sides. As soon as she goes back out in the yard, she probably will throw some more dirt and mud on her back, but that's to help protect from biting insects, and also helps to protect them from the sun, similar to sunscreen.
So Jennifer is wondering, what does their skin feel like? Is it silky? Is it rough, smooth?
Yeah, a lot of people often ask what elephants feel like because they definitely look very dry and rough. They do have hair on them. They are mammals, so they do have some fur all over. And they have kind of, it is dry, bumpy skin, but it is also, like, in a way, very soft. I don't know. It's hard to describe this in video. I've never had to do this. It's definitely an experience, I can tell you that. It's dry, it has hair, and it almost kind of feels like an old basketball, if you can think about what that might feel like.
So Brayden is wondering, what kind of soap do we use?
That's a really good question. We do have a special soap for our elephants. It's designed for animals like elephants with dry skin. And so I know our keepers put some extra suds in there today to make sure she was extra sudsy. But yeah, so it's especially made for animals like them and other animals similar to them.
So Lucy is wondering, how many keepers do we have that take care of the elephants here?
Another very good question. So in total, out of all of our keeper staff, we have 5 keepers that take care of our elephants. Today, we only have 2 of them working. And then on their days off, the other 3 elephant keepers come in and work with them.
So Teddy is wondering, can elephants sit?
Can elephants sit? That is a very good question. Elephants can definitely get down on the ground on their side. It's not so much like sitting in a chair like us. but they are pretty good at getting up and down off of the ground.
How often are our elephants given a bath?
Another good question. So they're given some type of work every day, whether it's a full bath like you're seeing now, but at the very least they always make sure to check in with the elephants, and a lot of times you'll see them even just scrub their feet. At a certain point in our bath today, you're going to get to see the keepers scrub their feet as well. So now we look at the other side. I'm going to wash this one. And again, throughout this bath, the keepers are giving Ginny food to ensure, just to let her know that she's doing the right thing. Very similar to how you train your dog, actually.
We have a couple of people that are just tuning in, and they're wondering, how old is she and how much does she weigh?
Awesome. Yeah, so those of you just joining us, thank you for joining us. So we have 3 female African elephants here. They were all born in about 1985, so they're about 35 years old. This is Ginny we have here. And she's getting a bath today. The other 2 elephants are in the back room. But they can live into their late 40s. Sometimes they can even live a little bit longer, so we consider our elephants about middle age. And Ginny is the largest of our 3 elephants. She weighs about 9,200 pounds.
And Riley was wondering, do elephants have good eyesight?
Do elephants have good eyesight? No, they do not have very good eyesight. They do have some other things that make up for that, which you might be noticing. Sometimes she might flap her ears. She has very, very large ears, so she has very good hearing. And then, of course, her trunk offers some good smelling senses. So she's very good at smelling. Unfortunately, eyesight isn't something that elephants have been gifted with as an adaptation. They do have very long eyelashes, though. Sometimes people ask them. They do have some of the longest eyelashes in the world. The longest recorded was about 5 inches. And so our keeper wants to talk about how elephants do have this really cool thing. They do have 3 eyelids, and this is another adaptation, along with those long eyelashes, that help in that dry Africa, dusty, deserty area. So the 3rd eyelid does help to protect when they go underwater or when there's big dust storms, to make sure that there's no dirt or debris getting into their eyes.
So we've had a couple of people ask, can elephants swim?
Can elephants swim? Elephants are very good swimmers. You might not catch our elephants in their pool very often. They typically go in the pool when it's either raining or the keepers have asked them to. But typically elephants do enjoy swimming. They enjoy the water, and they often like to play around in it.
Lila would like to know, do elephants sleep? And do they sleep standing or laying down?
Another very good question. So yes, elephants do sleep, although they don't sleep typically like we would at home in our beds. So elephants in a herd, they sleep typically either standing or they do lay down to sleep, but they always have one person watching, or one elephant rather, watching over their herd. So when our elephants go to sleep at night, they usually go to sleep in their back room, and then one of them will watch over the others while they sleep. To make sure that nothing happens to them, although I have been told that Alice has broken her duty and has taken a nap while on her watch.
A few people are asking, why do elephants have such big ears?
Good question. They have big ears for a couple of reasons. One of is to help them hear. They have very good hearing. They can hear from a long ways away, and it's helpful not only to hear predators and things happening out in the wild, but it's also helpful so that they can communicate with each other, because they have some really crazy ways that they can communicate. Additionally, it helps to cool them off in hot African heat. So right now, Ginny is rather wet, and there's lots of veins in those ears, and if she were to start flapping them, it would help her cool off pretty quickly. Likewise, if she is feeling a little bit cold, if she doesn't flap the wings, it helps to keep her a bit warmer.
So Leah and Bradley want to know, what are some of her favorite treats?
What are some of her favorite treats? Well, I know that all 3 of our elephants are pretty big fans of melons. Today she is getting a mixture of sweet potatoes, zucchini, apples. I did see some rice cakes over for a special treat. Oh, a lot of people often ask if our elephants receive peanuts, because wouldn't you think elephants would love peanuts? The truth is elephants do love peanuts. However, peanuts have lots of fat and calories, so if they do need an extra special treat, peanut butter and peanuts can be one of those. And so now you're going to get to see the keepers give a short foot bath. And they always make sure to check the elephant's feet because they can be prone to developing problems that could potentially be harmful to their health. So while she's washing Ginny's foot, she's going to make sure that there's nothing to be concerned of, and if she does see anything, she's probably going to go in and take care of it just to make sure that Ginny's foot is all healthy. Again, you're going to see some dirt coming off of the foot. Elephants love their dirt. You're going to see that they have toenails. Sometimes we do have to file their toenails if the toenails crack or they get too long. It's very similar if you were to file your own fingernail.
So someone's actually wondering, do we ever trim their tusks?
That's a very good question, and people ask if we trim their tusks pretty often. We don't trim them if we don't have to. If they were to develop a crack, something that would be above the lip line, infection could develop in that crack, and that could be potentially, again, harmful to the elephant's health. If they do see a crack in the tusk and it is going above that lip line, they will go in and trim it. Other than that, the elephants wear down their tusks at their own time. They use it to dig in dirt, they'll use it to rub up against trees. So for the most part, we do not cut our elephants' tusks unless we have to.
So a couple of people are wondering, in the wild, do elephants give themselves baths?
So they certainly don't give them a bath like they're getting right now. Ginny is being pretty pampered. But they will find watering holes and they will bathe themselves and go swimming in there. For the most part, they do need to keep a lot of dirt and mud on them to protect from those biting insects and, of course, the sun, because they don't have sunscreen like us. So now you're going to get to see the bottom of Ginny's feet. And it might look kind of similar to the bottom tread of your foot. Ginny's pads are pretty smooth, although some elephants will have lots more pits and cracks. If the keepers do see anything concerning or if there's any rock stuck in the bottom of their foot, you can take that out with special tools just to make sure that Ginny doesn't develop any cuts or injuries in the bottom of her foot either. Again, Ginny is always getting treats if she's doing what she's asked as a way for positive reinforcement.
And a couple of people are wondering, does she need cold water or hot water, or does it matter?
Another very good question. So we have a large water heater in this building, so the water is slightly warm. That being said, if they wanted to walk in water that's a little bit cooler, they probably would. But we make sure to keep it a little bit warmer for their bath time.
So someone's wondering, when is Ginny's birthday?
So we don't know exactly when Ginny was born. All three of our elephants were born in Zimbabwe in the wild, and their herd had gotten too large for the amount of land that they were on. So it had been decided that the herd was going to be culled, but many of those elephants were actually brought to the U.S. at that time. So we have no idea what their exact birth date is. We know that they may have been in the same herd, but it's unlikely that they would be like sisters, because typically elephants only have one baby at a time. So maybe they've been in the same herd, they might have similar aunt and uncle, but it's unlikely that they would be directly related, and there's no way for us to know exactly how old they are.
So Claire wants to know, do elephants have ticklish feet?
Do elephants have ticklish feet? I don't know.
They have nerve endings on certain part of their skin that's thinner, so if a fly lands on it, they're more apt to respond to that. They do like tactile, like you put your hand in their mouth and touch their tongue, but not their feet. Their feet are so calloused, like they'll know.
Yeah, that's a good point too. So the bottom of their feet is a callus. It's a pretty built up callus. So that's what allows the keepers to be able to go in there and dig out some of that debris if they need to. But just like a callus on our own skin, you might not feel that touch that much.
So Allison is wondering, how big are elephants when they're born?
How big are elephants when they're born? I can get you that information. I don't know exactly how big. I probably can get you the weight though. So next you're going to get to see the keepers actually go in and flush Ginny's molar. So elephants have 6 sets of teeth throughout their lifetime, which is much different than humans who only have 2 sets of teeth. Additionally, they only have 4 teeth at a time. They have 2 molars on the top and 2 molars on the bottom. And throughout their lifetime, they'll go through 6 of those teeth, and they don't go down or up like our teeth grow, so they actually grow horizontally out of their mouth. So the reason why we're going into Ginny's mouth, one, you're going to just get to see the keepers go and look inside her mouth just to make sure that everything is okay. But she's also in the midst of losing one of her sets of teeth, and so the keepers are going to go in and flush it out just to make sure that there's no dirt or debris in there.
So a couple of people are just tuning in. Can you tell them what treats she's getting right now?
Sure. So throughout this bath session, our keepers are going to be throwing Ginny lots of different treats. Some of it is sweet potatoes. We have green beans, apples. I saw some zucchini in there. They also have different types of green pellets. And right now, Ginny is about to receive a tooth flush. And for whoever asked about how large baby elephants are, they can weigh between 200 and 300 pounds at birth.
A couple of people are asking, do elephants ever come in any different colors?
That is a very good question. I don't know the answer to it. I can ask the keeper when they have a second. There are different types of elephants. There's Asian elephants and there's African elephants. Here at Roger Williams Park Zoo, we have 3 African elephants. And so again, our keeper is going to go in and flush Ginny's tooth just to make sure that there's no dirt and debris in there. We're going to get one more flush in there. Let's take a walk. And so because Ginny did such a good job, she does get rewards for that.
Very good girl, Ginny. All right, finish it up with something fun.
So the keepers have a special treat for you today. We're going to finish up with something fun. Ginny is going to do a painting for you. If anybody is busy at home crafting or making paintings themselves, we'd love to see pictures on social media of it. We have Ginny here. She's our artist. And again, if you didn't get to see the beginning of this video, thank you guys for joining us. We have 3 female African elephants here, Kate, Ginny, and Alice. Ginny just received her bath from her keepers, and now she's going to get to do a painting for us. Yeah, and thank you guys for tuning in.
Lisa's better at this than I am. But I did pick the color she had picked for another painting, so. All right.
I think it's going to be beautiful.
All right, here we go. gonna do it over here.
Good job, Ginny.
Did good today. What do you guys want to do with it?
Yeah. How fun. You guys have any last minute questions about any of our elephants? Ginny has finished up her session for today. Our keepers are still here busy working with our animals. They're still getting training sessions. They're still getting their enrichment and their food.
So a couple of people were asking, how could they become a zookeeper themselves?
That is a very good question. People often ask how they can become zookeepers, and it's totally possible if you want to. You're going to want to start looking into what you're going to do in college. So start looking at colleges, start looking for biology or zoology or animal science degrees. And then once you're in school, it's the same as with anything else. You're going to start looking for internships. You're going to do a lot of volunteer work and a lot of internships to get your experience working with the animals. And then once you have the experience, it does take quite a few years. Then you get to be a zookeeper. But it is a lot of fun. I think our zookeepers here really enjoy their job, and they really care for our animals a lot. So yeah, thank you guys for joining us for our elephant bath today. Ginny did such a good job. We do these type of sessions, at least they do some type of session every day, whether it's a bath, or they do training sessions, they do vet care procedures. It helps to keep the elephant's mind moving, it helps to keep that relationship between the keepers and the elephants, and quite frankly, the elephants do enjoy it. They get a lot of food during it. She's cute.